Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever and whenever you are joining us. Welcome to our latest edition of What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I'm your host, the coach Nick Vesci, joined by the boy Stephen Vesci.
What up?
And the man Stephen Comlow.
Hello.
Now, if you're new to our show, we like to think of ourselves as the sports show for sports fans about sports. We like to focus on what happens inside the lines of competition rather than the outside TMZ-like noise that we hear way too often. Now, before we get to our top catch for the evening, just a reminder to follow us on all of our social media. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all of that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Now, without further ado, we get into our top catch for tonight's show. And we went with, again, the college football playoff rankings coming out and the end of rivalry week, which we kind of precursored last week before or during our show, but basically the end results of rivalry week in the latest college football playoff poll. Colin, can you bring up the top 25 before that we get into it? So this is a blind viewing for me. I have not seen this at all.
Ready to be pissed off.
Lack of preparation from the host.
Well, I was doing other things.
You're right, Stevie. I am pissed. I am pissed.
Stop when you see it. I can tell you.
Is it Iowa?
No, it's BYU.
Well, I was also looking. I guess. So, look, I have a couple. Just looking at this, a couple things. First off, why they have put Tulane so far ahead of many other schools eludes me. Not to bash on Tulane at all.
Green wave.
But their coach is leaving, and it's not like they have their most impressive win. Right, is against Duke, isn't it? Who, yes, has a chance to win the ACC. Is that what they're going for here?
No, I don't know why they're so far up there at number 20 when they got blown out by UTSA as a group of 5 team.
And also,
a group of 5 team, you have to be undefeated, one loss in your one loss, and your one loss needs to be against a power conference team or a top rated team.
Yeah,
so
I think
understand why Tulane's so far.
Because what is Tulane's other loss is Ole Miss, correct? Where they got blown out.
They got destroyed by Ole Miss. Absolutely.
Yes. And then when you look at
why they think they're the best representation of the group of 5. Like they hate JMU. JMU's I guess schedule is like super weak and they hate it.
Yeah.
But JMU went out and did schedule a Power 5 team. Right? I mean they lost by two scores at Louisville, right?
But if you watch, but no one actually watched that game except for us, apparently, because JMU probably should have been competitive. That should have been a 1-score game, if not a JMU win. But they made self-inflicted errors that they don't usually do. Louisville didn't force those, but
I guess
Louisville team beat them.
I guess that's my issue here, though, right? So it's almost like they're holding. Yeah, you said they'll use the schedule strength against them, which I've heard before, but it's like they're holding that one loss against them more than other teams. But so, is the lesson there for JMU to not schedule that Power 5 team and to have scheduled another cupcake and win 70-0, and be undefeated? Because you mean to tell me if they're undefeated, they would still rank them below a 2-loss Tulane? Yeah, and again, it's all hypothetical. We don't know. It does kind of feel like that, right? That if they were undefeated, they would be ahead of them, and they could have become undefeated by not scheduling a Louisville, right? But again, in that same boat, Tulane could have not scheduled Ole Miss at one loss, and where would they be, right? So I don't know. It's interesting there from the standpoint of the order of those 3 schools and where they are. I'm not surprised that they have Texas where they are, leapfrogging Vandy. In Utah,
Texas has the head-to-head against Vanderbilt.
They do, but they have
one more loss. That's what.
Yeah, Alabama has the head-to-head against Georgia, but they have one more loss, and it's a horrific
I
loss,
agree.
and so they're
I
not. So
agree.
why do they get the
Vanderbilt,
special treatment there?
because Texas and the SEC media and the college football media and ESPN all champion the Texas cause. So to appease
That's
them, we'll
true.
jump them. Even though Vanderbilt, to me, Vanderbilt has a much better case for the college football playoff than Texas does.
I agree.
Texas should be, an afterthought. You lose to 4-8 Florida, and all the Texas people have just been saying the entire time is, well, if we don't schedule Ohio State, we're 10-2 and we're in safely. No, you're not. Why do you think you'd be in safely with a 4-8 loss?
Well, because of where they're ranked here. No, their answer is correct. If they were 10-2 right now, they would have them at number 10. 100% they would. And so that's the issue there is.
And then what, 10, 11, 12 all bumped down one?
Correct.
Like the rankings would stay the same and Notre Dame would be 11,
that's
BYU
what they
12, Miami 13?
That's what they would do, yeah. They would. Which is kind of ridiculous, though, right? Like, why schedule those games?
It's absurd. It's absurd. Like, you schedule those games because they're built-in mulligans. It's to test your team and have a built-in mulligan.
But it's supposed to be like you said, boy.
They use their mulligans on Ohio State and Georgia, and then you can't lose to Florida. So the Florida loss to me is just.
It should preclude you from the discussion. I agree.
Like, you scheduled Ohio State and Texas, that game to be scheduled right there is a tester for your team to see where your team is at. If you are the best of the best, that's a great way to test your team out. And if you lose, it doesn't really matter. Your margin for error is lower,
but it still shouldn't matter because you still have control over everything.
You're supposed to be a national championship caliber team, and you go and lose to Florida. So get the hell out of here. I'm done with Texas. Hands down, I'm done with you.
Boy, I agree with you too, because the other part there where I don't want to hear the crying is they were preseason ranked number 1, right? Yeah. So by their logic too, like where they are, Penn State should be number 25 at that point, right? Like they were preseason number 2 and they went 6-6, and well, that's only 2 wins worse than Iowa, so they should be number 25. If you're gonna go down that road, that's essentially what you're heading, and it's an illogical argument. Is what I'm saying. Like it's not, and that's why I don't want. And we said this before, right? When the first time they did this last year is. There's going to be people going to complain, right? Everyone's always going to complain about the last team's not in. But as we said last year, we're not going to cry over any of you guys complaining, even though it's worth a discussion. We're not going to cry because you had so many opportunities. Think about that. That's 3 losses. And again, if you want to take that Ohio State game out, okay, whatever. You still had 2 other chances to not lose, and you got creamed by Georgia and dominated by Florida. Right? And whereas these other teams ahead of you didn't do stuff like that. The only one that has something like that on their resume is Alabama's destruction to Florida State in the first game. And they redeemed that with the Georgia win. Right? And so...
Yeah, but Texas redeemed theirs with the A&M win.
Yes, but is A&M in the same league as Georgia? They're not. As good as they've been this year, they're not. It's not the same as
Georgia's got flaws. They all have flaws, but
yes,
there's
obviously.
One team. All right, there's one team that I think we should be upset over, and it's not Miami, it's not Texas, it's not Vanderbilt, it's BYU, because BYU is 11-1 I think their strength of record is number 6 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They have metrics. They're in a Power 4 team. They win 11-1 with their one loss being on the road to the number 4 team in the country.
Correct.
And no one's even said a word about them.
Well, at least
every graphic is Notre Dame versus Miami versus Texas, Notre Dame versus Miami versus Vanderbilt, whatever it is. BYU's not even on a graphic for them to even compare.
No, because
and they've just ignored it, and they're like, well, if we just ignore it long enough. They just go away.
Yeah, I think that's it too, right? You could bring in aspects of politicking of how they don't want them in because of the school itself or things like that. Whatever they want to say, the same way that they
if their logo said Texas, they'd be sitting.
Yeah, right. Things like that, but also at the end of the day, BYU, unlike Texas or Miami. And Vandy and Notre Dame has a chance to play itself in. If they beat Texas Tech this weekend, they're in, and there's no debate. So I think, Boyd, to answer, what you're saying there, that may be a reason why they're not bringing them up in those discussions, because they have a chance to
But what
take
bothers me
care of
is
their
that
own business. Whereas Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Miami, Texas, Vandy, Utah, they don't. So
but
they're done.
Alabama's in regardless, right? If they lose
Correct.
the
Well,
SEC
then because
championship, they're
the
not
other
moving them
thing,
out. But
yeah.
if
Well, that's
BYU loses, they're out because they're not in to begin with. That's their way of doing this, which to me is garbage.
correct. Right. It does.
BYU should be where Notre Dame is. Notre Dame should not be in. Notre Dame, Miami should not be in. BYU should be the team.
Yeah, I know. Miami people, they're one of their two of their biggest things are, one, that they don't get a chance to play for their conference title, which is that's all on the ACC. That's not NCAA. The ACC did that to themselves
That's also on Miami for not
for whatever reason. And you're right. Yes, if you don't lose to Louisville or SMU, you're fine, right?
Especially SMU.
But
you need to win. You need to win against SMU.
Their biggest
after their loss.
Yes, their biggest thing though too is like, so we're 10-2, Notre Dame's 10-2. We beat them. But how do you not rank us ahead? But yet, like you said, boy, Texas 9-3 is ahead of 10-2 Vanderbilt just for the reason that they beat Vandy. So that's one of the big reasons for why is Miami not there, right? So it's kind of like we said.
I think I would sit here and I put BYU right behind A&M. I'd have them in the 8 spot. I'd slide everyone down and I'd swap Miami and Notre Dame. Does that help Miami? No, it does not. But they'd be ahead of Notre Dame. Like the first team out would be Miami.
Yeah. But now the Notre Dame people, obviously we know they have extreme pull in these things, right? But to their defense, Notre Dame is playing like if Notre Dame played Miami right now, I believe all 3 of us would pick Notre Dame to win.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I know it shouldn't matter, but on some level that does. Now, I do want to touch on the big because it's supposed to be, they'll say it's the 12 best teams or whatever it is, the best at larges.
In the college football regular season matters. It's the best regular season in all of sports, and I'm tired of this crap of, well, it's because of who we're playing now, how we're playing now. Bullshit.
Yeah,
There's
no,
12 games.
So
this isn't college basketball. There's 12 games.
A couple things with that. I know that, and you brought this up, boy, how you're not in favor of this, of moving to 16 teams. And going to 16 teams alleviates some of these things, right?
No, but then you're still
gonna be bitching and moaning about this, yes. But what it does is it allows every single team to 100% control its destiny, because that means every team could get in. Like our talk over Tulane, North Texas, and JMU would be a moot point because every conference champ gets in the 16-team playoff, I believe. And then at that point, too, the at-larges would also, just going by this year, I think Miami would be the only one maybe that gets mad. That would have a true case of being mad. Everyone else go pound sand, lick windows, whatever, right? But the excuse me, the other thing I was going to say is Ole Miss, right? I don't like why they're sitting at 6. And the reason for it is, the reason I don't like that has nothing to do with their results on the field, but everything with Lane Kiffin leaving. Because, and again, in a lot of ways, this shouldn't matter, but the College Football Playoff Committee 2 years ago, set the precedent that it does matter, because they chose to rank an undefeated Florida State team outside of the top 4, and their justification was because star quarterback Jordan Travis was hurt and wasn't going to play, and that changed what their team was. This, while slightly different, is in a lot of ways no different at all. Lane Kiffin's one of the best coaches right now in college football. Him not running the show at Ole Miss affects them a great deal and should affect where they are ranked, because that changes who they are as a team the same way Jordan Travis changed who Florida State was as a team. So for them to not drop in the rankings is, to be honest, it screams corruption. And it screams that we have all ulterior motives. And now I know the one argument that they would say, I guarantee, would be, well, the committee is made up of different people each year. Well, that is the case. It still sets precedent that you have to honor, very much the same way that a Supreme Court justice has to honor precedent done when they weren't a Supreme Court justice, right? So by them not pushing Ole Miss down sends that clear message that it does matter who you are and what conference you're in, because we will treat you differently. The rules apply differently to different schools. So we're basically just saying that,
This
if
selection committee, but this selection committee is making it clear that that doesn't matter at all. Look at this leaderboard and look at this ranking, and look at how many coaches are going to be different next season. You have Ole Miss. You've talked about Tulane already, and then you have JMU. JMU's coaches going to UCLA, and they cracked
And
top
North
25,
Texas.
and North Texas.
Every Group of 5 team. By the way, you know who was hired at North Texas?
Who?
Former West Virginia coach Neil Brown.
Was he really?
Nice.
Well, but
Congrats,
so
Neil Brown.
Kamlo, I understand what you're saying there with those 3 schools, but they kind of wash each other out because of the fact that they're all changing coaches, and I believe JMU's coach.
They're all coaching through their
they're all coaching through it, right? So that,
which is wild.
The playoffs.
Whereas Lane Kiffin's not, so that should affect them. And I wouldn't have an issue if they said it affects Tulane, North Texas, JMU. Maybe they would have had them ranked differently or higher than, let's say, an Iowa, Georgia Tech, Houston, if that were the case. Or we don't know that. But the issue with it is because all 3 of them are kind of lumped together. All 3 of them leaving puts them back at that level playing field, whereas Ole Miss is now not on a level playing field with A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama, or Notre Dame. They're not, because that changes them completely.
That's such a drastic. That to me, like, I know Jordan Travis was huge for Florida State or whatever, but this is the head coach that runs. He controls everything.
Mm-hmm.
He controls everything they do, from like meetings, the meals, all of it runs through him. He has to okay everything. So like at the time they go to sleep, all of it, like the culture of it, like Lane Kiffin runs everything. So this is a big deal. But also, I'm a believer that FSU got screwed that year, and they shouldn't have done it.
Of that.
And I don't think Ole Miss should have been screwed over. My issue is they moved them up.
No, I agree that it does feel wrong that they penalize Florida State, and it would feel wrong if they penalize Ole Miss for that. But the fact remains that
did nothing. Right?
The fact remains that
don't deserve to get screwed over.
Jordan Travis did nothing. The players on Florida State did nothing.
Well, that's
right.
So, but I don't think Florida State should have been screwed over.
You can't do one and not the other. Is what I'm saying. You
they're
cannot do one and
wrong though. That's
that's not how things work. That's not how things work. You can't have a makeup call. There's no such thing as that. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, we missed this."
If their team right there, if that was Texas Tech, you better believe they'd be bounced.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying is that's it's corruption is what it screams, that we're not doing our job completely. We're doing what benefits us the most.
Right. And how many SEC teams are in right now? Georgia,
2, 3, 4,
Texas
5,
A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama.
Yeah, 5.
And the SEC's bitching to get 6 to 7 more. And Clark Lee, Clark Lee is phenomenal. What he's done at Vanderbilt has been unbelievable. Him with Pavia, they just got the number 1 quarterback to flip from Georgia to Vanderbilt. It's unbelievable what he's done. But for him to sit there tonight and say that there should be more SEC teams in, and it's a joke that other teams with in a different conference with the same record as them are above an SEC team, is ridiculous.
Yes,
like that to me is so absurd.
Here's
SEC,
why
SEC, if you want to do this, take the ball and just go. Just create your own playoff. Play only SEC opponents. Create your own playoff. Everybody in the SEC just watch it. That's it. Just do that, and we'll watch. We'll crown an actual national champion.
No, it's
your conference is not above anyone else's. I'm done with the SEC.
It's funny.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for the SEC hate from you.
It's funny that you bring that solution up, Boyd, because I actually said that a year or two ago when this whole politicking so much started. Is that was my solution? Is okay, if you're going to sit there and think that's superior, we'll just make FBS the SEC. In the SEC, everyone plays each other, and we do relegation the same way we do in soccer, where the bottom 3 in the SEC each year are relegated, and then you take the Big 10, Big 12, and ACC champ, and they move up. And then eventually what you will see, I guarantee what you'll see, is after several years, that, quote, FBS SEC thing will no longer be just SEC teams because of the fact that they are not that dominant. And I actually have a data point for you, boy. Since you bring up data points, today I went through and looked at which conference has the most teams that are bowl eligible. Do you know what conference it was?
It's the Big Ten.
It's the Big Ten with 12. You know what number 2 is?
It's the Big 12.
It's the ACC with 11.
ACC.
And number 3 is the SEC.
Okay.
Right? So, again, that doesn't say the whole story because the conference with the most double-digit win teams is the SEC. Right? However, right, that shows also that your conference is not as strong because their bottom half is so weak that allowed you to get those double-digit wins because we know that all of those SEC teams
A&M,
schedule
Ole
2-3
Miss.
cupcakes.
Yep, A&M and Ole Miss. Look at who their schedule is and look who they beat. Also, by the way, you mentioned that I believe the ACC has a winning record against the SEC this year.
They do. They did the year they snubbed Florida State, and I bet they do this year. Yes,
I believe they do. Guess who wins? Guess who has a winning record against the ACC?
Big 12.
The Big 12. Which should tell you that there's parity
Correct.
in college football.
That just
we
because
don't have to champion one conference just because our TV rights are with this conference. Why don't we watch the damn games? There are, by the way, there's better coaching in the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC. There is.
there is.
If your coaches are so good, why the hell are they getting fired?
Oh, because
Higher
boy,
standard.
Exactly. We hold ours to a higher standard because we are that superior. But no, I mean,
Tell me, put your best SEC coaches against the best Big 12, against the best Big 10, against the best ACC, and tell me who's better. Right? ACC, you probably think they would be the ones left out, but clearly they're playing good football. As we've seen, if they have a winning record against the SEC. We love Kirby Smart and we love Elko, right? Venables has done a great job this year, but his offense is anemic. They're tough to watch. Lane Kiffin is just a jackass and he just got out. He leaves Ole Miss when he has a chance to try to win national title to go to LSU for whatever.
See, that's my biggest problem. If we can just talk about that for a second, like take all the people that are talking about like, oh, should he coach through it, whatever. I mean, and I think we would all agree.
Ole Miss told him to kick rocks.
Yeah, and I would too.
Yeah.
You know who said it? The best was
Gandhi?
No,
Patino.
Scott Van Pelt. So Scott Van Pelt and Stanford Steve were talking about it, and Scott said, "All right, so imagine this, Stanford Steve. Your wife says she's in love with the guy down the road and wants a divorce, but she wants to stay here and do Christmas for the kids. No, you go ahead and you take your ass down the road, and we'll do Christmas with who deserves to be here."
Correct.
Yeah, I agree, and
Also,
I think that's the best way to do it. That whole situation just really made me mad.
Also, Rick Pitino also came out and said, he's like, imagine if I'm coaching St. John's, we have a number 1 seed in March, and right before March, like the tournament starts, I take the job at Duke or whatever it is. Because that's how ridiculous this is.
Yes.
But again,
my big issue with all of it,
it's the schedule of college football that screws you.
My big issue with all of the
blame
Lane Kiffin stuff is that, like, to me, this proves unequivocally that this guy stands for nothing. He stands for nothing. He got a like what like you coach college football to have a chance at winning what Ole Miss has a chance at winning right now, and a big payday comes at a different school, and you're not gonna like stand on firm ground and be like, I can't give you guys an answer. I'm in the middle of doing what every coach wants to do. Instead, he's like, I'll take it.
The schedule of college football hurts him, and I will say that he has to go. If he's going to take a job, it's hard to stay and do it because he has to recruit and the transfers, all that stuff.
But why take a job?
But
you have everything you would want. You would have everything you would want.
It's a college football problem, right? Like
it is like
you could put a hiring freeze essentially. You could say that if you're going to fire a coach mid-season, great, but you can't hire anyone until
January.
X
yes,
time.
yes. The time frame for transfer portal and hirings and all that stuff needs to adapt with the NIL stuff and the college football playoff schedule because it's just not right. I mean, but we see the same thing happen in the pros too, right? Don't we? I mean, how many years, Stevie, as Patriots fan, were they in the middle of a playoff run, and we start hearing, oh, Josh McDaniels has interviews lined up here, Matt Patricia has interviews lined up here, and it's like,
but
we don't need that noise. We're in the middle of doing what every pro coach dreams of doing.
But in that defense, it was never ever the head coach who was the rumor. So that offensive coordinator, yes, correct, like you said, that you dream of winning, but the offensive coordinator also dreams of being the head coach and winning. So they were never sitting there and saying Belichick is going to leave.
He also doesn't have to bring in a recruiting class.
Yes.
So it's very different in the pros. Like Kiffin has to get started on his recruiting class. Every coach that's hired in December and later is now behind James Franklin at Virginia Tech with their recruiting class, right? He's already just flipping every Penn State recruit there is, right? And Penn State's in there like we have nothing. My thing with Lane Kiffin, why is LSU the job that's the job you have to have? That is an egotistical thing for him because you get hired at LSU to get fired. If you do not win a national championship within 3 years, you're going to be fired.
But maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point. Is he wants not to defend him. Because if he wins, exactly.
If he does what he did at Ole Miss every single year that he's doing now, and he's in the playoff, and he's winning 10 games, and he has a chance at a national championship, just some hope or whatever, you build him a statue.
But think about the statue he could get built
for nothing.
Think about the statue he could get built at LSU if he were to rattle off like 3 titles in 5 years.
You think he's going to?
No, but that's what I guarantee what his mind was at, because I don't think money obviously they're going to give him more money, but I don't think it was like a drastic change. I think it's that ego thought of, man, yes, I could win a title here at Ole Miss, what I've built, but what if I did this at LSU? Like if I could do this at Ole Miss, imagine what I can do at LSU, and if I can make that 3 titles in 5 years or something, I'm now on the level of Nick Saban on that Mount Rushmore, and I'm now
it's an ego.
Yes.
It's egotistical. It's bullshit. He stands for nothing. You got to dance with the girl you brought.
By the way,
he brought Ole Miss.
He snapped at that reporter that basically said like he said Kiffin's acting like a hoe instead of a housewife or whatever. This like hilarious thing, and Kiffin.
It's a great quote.
After before one of the games, saw this report on the sideline because these reporters trying to do his job, and he's like, "I heard what you said" or whatever, and snapped at him. And then
I am offended by your language. I am offended by it. Don't. That's misogynistic,
Larry. It's misogynistic.
I mean, I guess I could have called him a pussy.
Now, another thing, I guess, with Ole Miss, right? If they're not going to move them down because of the coach, which I do think is erroneous, what happens when a couple of those guys transfer before they get to this and to go to LSU? Opens for them for
January, I believe.
Well, no. Once your coach leaves, you have 30 days as well to go on the portal, right? Which may be a moot point because of when the other portal opens. But I'm just saying, if they
stand for nothing if they leave.
But that's the thing, though, right? If they leave, then how could you rank them? How could you have them where they are still if they leave? That would have to change. And I know, I'm with you, boy. How when they screwed Florida State, I didn't think that was right. And by screwing these kids who stay there, I don't think that's right either. But again, you set the precedent of that. That's how we go and evaluate teams. So if there are some guys, impact players that leave, you have to move them down. And maybe you don't move them out completely, right? Maybe they go from hosting a playoff game to going on the road.
Yeah.
Right? But really on that same token, right, you brought up BYU and how, aggrieved you feel about them. you would think that's a team that should be ranked ahead of them if these guys leave, because you have to, again, like they said they do a couple years ago, you have to evaluate them on the team that they have right now. Then that would
By the way,
have to impact that.
Sataki stayed. He had Penn State was trying to poach him, and but guess who got involved in that? The CEO of Crumble Cookies
Nice.
got involved in Sataki staying, but he was like, the CEO basically tweeted out like, Penn State's trying. I hear this is their offer. It's time for me to get to work. We need to keep him, and so I'm sure he's ponying up some money to help them out. But Sataki stayed. Their coach is staying. Everything at BYU. By the way,
got that big cookie money.
A lot of the arguments too that I see is like, well, we want to watch these teams play, watch these players or whatever. If you've never watched BYU, they're a great team to watch. They have a lot of fun players to watch. They have NFL players. They are solid. They are fundamentally sound and explosive. By the way, we love explosives. Got to have the dynamic players. Their quarterback wears number 47. He's a freshman. He's awesome. Running back.
Speaking of explosive players, boy, do you know who also wore number 47 in college?
As a quarterback?
He went to the U and did not play quarterback. Michael Irvin. So that'll be brought up with Bachmeier, right? It doesn't look the part. Well, Michael Irvin was out there running around with 47. He is as explosive as they have ever been in the annals of football history, right?
He still is. That dude's electric. So
he's in great shape, too. He looks like he could go out there and catch a couple passes for 30, 40 yards. But, Kamala, can you scroll up to the bracket, please?
Yeah, sure.
So, one thing I'd like to point out before we get into this, I know we brought up the doomsday scenario for the ACC, which is still possible with their championship game being 7-5 Duke playing against 10-2 UVA. Now, I believe pretty much everyone's in agreement. If UVA were to win that game, they're in. They'll finish.
Correct. They have. They're already ranked high enough.
And there'd be no reason for them to drop below because they won that conference. Now, Duke winning, and I went and racked the numbers and looked at this, I think does not fully eliminate the ACC. So you have to stay with me here, right? If Duke wins, that means the winner of North Texas and Tulane is automatically in, basically, because that would be the fourth. They'd be the number 11 seed right there, right? Now that 12th seed, because where they have JMU, if they're to win, that's who would get it if Duke wins, right? However, if JMU loses to 8-4 Troy, you don't 9-4 Troy is not going to be ranked ahead of 8-5 Duke. Also, Mountain West Conference Championship is 10-2 UNLV and 8-4 Boise State. If Boise State wins and goes 9-4, Duke is going to be ranked ahead of them. So if Duke were to beat UVA, the ACC would need Boise State to win. They would need Troy to win. And just for good measure, you could say have whoever, Jacksonville State, I think is just playing Kennesaw State, because Kennesaw State would finish 10-3. But I don't think either of them, no matter what, would be ranked ahead of an 8-5 Duke. So I believe that
has a chance.
In that scenario, if they are,
I don't think so. I think Duke would still be above.
You think they would still rank Duke over an 11-2 UNLV?
Yes. Because no one cares about UNLV, and ESPN has the ACC as a.
But you know who UNLV's coach is.
Yes, Dan Mullen.
Is Dan Mullen. So that adds a wrinkle there, because he, as a coach, in a lot of ways is a bigger draw than Manny Diaz, right? You want the draws, right, is what they care about, unfortunately. So I think UNLV would be, because I think that is another harsh precedent to set, that an 11-2 conference champ, from what you've established before is a good conference because of where they had Boise State last year, right, is going to be ranked below an 8-5 Duke team that has gotten obliterated by several teams this year, right? So I think they would be ahead, but I believe the ACC avoids the doomsday scenario. One, if UVA wins.
They need you.
But oh my God, they need them more than anything. But again, the ACC championship game is the last of the championship games to be played. So by the time they get there, they could know whether or not JMU's won or lost, and they could know whether or not UNLV's won or lost, right? So again, if those results, the UNLV Boise State game and the JMU Troy game, go the way of Troy and Boise State, I believe Duke can win the ACC and get in as that number 12 seed, being like the 40th ranked team in the country.
That's
wild.
where people get upset.
Oh, people would be so mad.
Yes.
Could you
People
imagine?
would be so mad. They'd be like, we want the 12 best teams. However, this is the way it's structured, and
Well,
you all agreed to it, so suck
Well,
it. I
and
don't
they
know what
agreed
tell
to
you.
it because
and if your
the
team
idea
wants to
again,
be in, tell them to win their games.
Correct.
yes.
I want chaos. I don't know what college football is the only sport where we don't root for chaos in the underdog, and I don't understand it. If this is college basketball,
the favorites fan bases are so loud.
Correct.
If this,
That's
yeah,
fine.
correct. If
Could be.
this
And
is college basketball, I want George Mason to win, to get to the Final Four and win the whole.
But yeah,
thing,
go Patriots.
right? Or Loyola Chicago, or
Yeah,
VCU.
VCU, go
whoever
Rams.
it is.
yeah.
Rams.
Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams. Give me the Spiders.
But here's
give me the Longwood Lancers.
Yes. Okay. This does give you that ability, though. Once the playoff starts, you can sit there and root for whoever the hell 11 is to beat Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
You can, right? So it gives you that. I think that's one of the reasons.
Right now, your Virginia Cavaliers are slated for that 11 seed if they win.
I know that.
Which means they have a pretty real chance of playing Georgia because Lane Kiffin won't be there.
Correct. That's a winnable game against Ole Miss. You got to take care of business. So Duke's
no, which means by you saying that means they have a very good shot of losing to Duke on Saturday night and blowing everything into oblivion.
100%.
Because think about how damaging.
We like to root for chaos.
How damaging to the ACC would that be? I mean, it could prove catastrophic because that Florida State snub is still biting them in the ass right now. It really is. It absolutely is from 2 years ago because they base so much of the stuff off of previous year's performance, right? So I mean, that's why we saw Indiana not be able to break through until this year because they viewed everything they did last year as a fluke. But now they backed it up and they go, okay, we have to honor that. So by Florida State getting snubbed, and then they're still reeling from that. They are. They're still reeling from that snub. And that just screwed over possibly that whole conference because in a lot of, think about it, Florida State doesn't get snubbed and maybe they win one of those games. Do we think Miami's ranked differently?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? And that's crazy to think about because that's 2 years ago.
It's a higher quality loss then.
But they would view Miami differently because of that conference of, oh, well, as recently as the last 14 playoff, you had a team in the championship game, right? That changes everything.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Louisville just beat the absolute piss out of Kentucky, correct?
Who should have beat Texas.
Kentucky should have beat Texas and has played some of these SEC
played Georgia tough.
Actually, yeah, they played Georgia tough, right?
But they get because.
But the SEC is depth. When they play each other, it's depth. When they play out of conference and get destroyed, it crickets.
No, because here's the other thing that they'll say is, well, you have a winning record, but you beat, right? Your wins are against our bad teams. Like you couldn't beat any of our top teams.
Don't say stage freeze, just do it.
Right. So that's the argument there with the SEC is that if you put a Louisville, yes, they beat a Kentucky, but if they would say, oh, they could never stay with the Texas.
Well, because the SEC is undefeated in hypotheticals.
Always have been. On the subject of like conference talk, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but it might just be because of my algorithm because I've interacted with so many like Marty Smith, Lane Kiffin memes, which were hilarious.
Marty Smith, by the way, Marty Smith from.
He's from. He's not Roanoke, is it?
Radford, baby.
He went to Radford.
Really? That's awesome.
He's from down there. Nice. I thought he was more like Galax down there.
Christiansburg or something.
Like way further.
Christiansburg's right between Radford and Blacksburg. Anyway, so I don't know if I'm seeing all of this because of like my interaction and my algorithm with the Marty Smith memes and Lane Kiffin leaving and all that, but when the news about Bob Chesney essentially going to UCLA and that rumor coming through, I've seen a lot of people up in arms about JMU having a dominant program, but their inability to keep and pay coaches to stay with this program. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about wanting JMU to leave their conference and go to the ACC. How does that happen? How does a team transition conferences like that?
JMU's been eyeing that for years. Before they even got to FBS, they were eyeing going from FCS straight to the ACC.
They should be in the ACC.
Because of, obviously, geography-wise, it makes a lot of sense there. Academics, they have that to stick with the ACC because I know that's the ACC points that to a lot when in terms of taking teams.
They decided not to take West Virginia all those years ago because of our academics.
Which is funny because Florida State is in the ACC.
Correct. It's such a stupid thing.
What's that process like?
JMU.
You have to be invited, I believe, right? I don't think you can just apply.
In my NCAA 25,
I declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
By the way, in my NCAA 25 dynasty, I'm using JMU, and I immediately put them in the ACC and took Boston College out.
The difficulty while you're at it.
I'm an All-American.
Pussy.
But I mean, like, it to me, like that is a solution to that problem. Is go to a bigger conference, get bigger money, and now you can potentially shell out to save to keep coaches instead of having your rock stars leave year after year after year.
You know who actually did this? The example of this is current ACC member SMU. This was their dilemma for years. They knew this. They knew to break through to get to these things, they have to get into a conference. And so I don't know if there's something. I think there is actually a possible application process or something like there's something where you approach someone because they saw a lot of
I wouldn't invite someone that doesn't want to be there. I feel like you probably have to initiate it.
Yeah, I don't know, but they saw a lot of their, I guess, contemporaries, like your TCUs, your Utahs, your UCFs, BYUs now, Cincinnati's, these schools that were basically in the same boat as what JMU is now, having great programs in multiple sports, but especially in football. They saw the success they were having. They saw how their ranking and their progress was halted by the fact that they weren't in a bigger conference because they would lose out on things like that, like coaching changes, players, obviously rankings at the end of the day, right? And so SMU sat there and said, how do we get us into a major conference? We have to do it. And I think they tried at the Big 12. I actually think there was a Pac-12 possibility at one point with them. But when the all this stuff happened with Oregon, Washington, all them going to the Big 10, and you had the Pac-12 dissolve, they saw that as an opportunity to try to get into the ACC. Knowing that the ACC needed to add someone to keep pace with those other schools. And so essentially SMU agreed to forfeit their revenue share from the ACC for like the next 5 to 10 years. Basically said, we're going to eat that because we have enough oil money down here in Dallas that we can eat that and be fine. But we need to get into the ACC to get these opportunities. And you're seeing it pay off for them in all sports. Their volleyball team is ranked extremely high. Their basketball team gets ranked higher and gets better publicity because of them being in the ACC. But also football-wise last year, they made it to the playoff last year. And they wouldn't even sniffed the playoff. Even if they played the same exact schedule, but the logo on their patch on their chest was the American Athletic Conference of Americans. Even if that's what it was, they wouldn't have sniffed the playoff, but they got in last year. So it paid off for them. So that's what JMU is looking for, is they got to find the in. And maybe the ACC is going to sit there and say, especially if they get snubbed right now, that shit, maybe if we had a JMU in our conference, it would have changed. Duke would have never got in to the championship game. We would have higher ranked teams, whatever. They could sit there and say that. And it's possible.
So it looks like the board of trustees for the school, along with the president, need to agree and vote to authorize discussions with the targeted conference. And then quietly, the president and the athletic director of that school would talk to the ACC commissioner or the conference commissioner. We'll say ACC just because that's what we're talking about. and then that starts the formal application and the presentation, because they're not going to invite someone who isn't showing interest, right? So then they would start a formal application, and then there would be like a vetting, right? They would evaluate things like we've talked about, like your market exposure, the value that you bring to the conference, if any, right? And then the members of that conference would vote, and it requires a supermajority with 3/4 of the member schools must vote yes to allow that school in.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting to think about that part, because I could see a lot of ACC teams saying we don't want them for the same reason that they refuse to schedule them, knowing that they're just going to beat our ass. And
It's funny
now a
it's funny
pal
you
that's
say
sitting
that,
there
because
who's making a
the
bowl game is
ACC is
losing.
apparently like one of the most picky conferences in this whole process.
What Stevie said.
Mm-hmm.
Pinkies out, wine sipping, weenies.
Yeah, they didn't want West Virginia, which would have made a
Well,
lot of sense.
But it also makes sense for them to not want West Virginia. Let's be honest.
Holy
If you
shit!
would've had the backyard
Did you know
brawl
that you have
every
to
year,
pay?
You would've had the Black Diamond Trophy every year.
Did you know you have to pay They have to pay an
Yes,
exit fee to their current conference.
It's a shit
Holy
ton of
shit!
money. Yes, that was another thing with SMU, was like, we don't care. We'll pay all this because our whole money.
Until JMU's like, JMU needs a billionaire donor to be like, well, the exit fee's fine. We'll pay our way in, whatever it is. We'll eat the cost for 5 years to get in. Like, they need that, and SMU has that in, abundance.
Yes. Now JMU does have Charles Haley, who I believe either Tom tied or he still has the record for most Super Bowl championships in NFL history. But they also have Scott Norwood.
Scott Norwood, is he wide right or whatever?
Yes. He actually was a very good kicker, by the way. It's a shame.
Buckner was
Buckner was a very good player too. Yes, so it's kind of that. But yes, those are notable JMU football alums. But as we know, like you said, the money isn't in a football alum; it's in an oil man or a coal man or something.
I mean, look at Texas Tech, man. West Texas. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love it. I personally love it. I think it's great because we get different coaches, we get different players. If you look at who the number one recruits are going to, we have the number one recruit I think in the country is going to Vanderbilt. I think there's another guy, top 3 recruit going to Houston.
Yes, there is.
I think there's another one going to, I forget who, somewhere else that's
Ooh.
outside the norm, and it's like, this is awesome. I love it. But that should also tell you that there's parity, and we should treat these conferences a little bit more fairly.
To be devil's advocate, well, yes, it does mean that there's parity, because that's the talent they're talking about, right? Because talent they talk about is not football skill; it's physical.
That's why I said there's better coaches in these other conferences, because all it is talent level in the SEC.
Talent, quote.
These guys are terribly coached.
But what it could be, just to be devil's advocate, it could be I take a thing from Houston because, they're paying me a lot of money. But what if I go to Houston and I tear it up, right? What is Ohio State going to offer me to come there, right? What is right? Because also that alleviates this kid from going to a Georgia or an Alabama and having to compete for a spot. I walk right into Houston as a starter, and if I light it on fire, it's like betting on yourself in free agency in baseball.
Well, these guys all have agents. The top guys have agents.
Yes,
absolutely. The agent's telling you, well, if you bet on yourself, we can.
Here's your option. Here's your options. Yeah, we can
parlay this into Texas offering you $20 million a year.
Correct. Yes. Anything else before we get into the boys' winners and losers from the past week in college football?
Oh no, I think I need to move on. I think it's time for me to move on.
All right, Kamala, hit the strike button.
Oh my God, give me a second. It's always so demanding. There we go.
What did we pay you for?
All right,
nothing.
Let's start with our losers. L for love.
Nothing.
Let's
for love.
keep this discussion going. All right, I do have to. All right, my first loser. I do have to mention this because I was watching the UVA Virginia Tech game with our Virginia Tech buddy Patty, and just giving him shit because I was like, ah, Tech sucks, and a
Boy,
score,
do they.
a score rolls across on the ticker. And it says Texas Tech 49, West Virginia 0. And he goes, "Oh my God, geez, what happened there?" And I was like, we're not talking about it. We're gonna move on. And then right after it goes, it's the worst home loss in West Virginia history since 1891. And God, did he love it? He was
Good
giving me so much
Lord.
crap because in the entire 1900s, you didn't have a loss that bad. That's so West Virginia is my first loser because it has.
Hey, the first step is admittance and
Yeah,
acceptance.
we're gonna be good next year. We're gonna be good. I trust.
We tried.
Please be good. Please be good. My next one, sticking with the West Virginia rivalries here. Pitt got their ass kicked by Miami. They actually had a chance to go to the ACC title game, and they would have actually been in the ACC title game had they not shit the bed against Miami. And I actually said last week I think Pitt was going to win that game. Cold weather. You just came off the Georgia Tech win, feeling good. Miami punched you in the mouth and destroyed you. So honestly, that was impressive by Miami, I thought. But Pitt, you're a loser. My next one, Nebraska, 40-16 loss to Iowa. Oh my goodness. Nebraska football has not been the same since Bo Pelini.
Correct. I mean, that's the trap that
Penn
alluding
State's
to the Lane Kiffin, Penn State. All that is right. You're going to fire someone for going 9-3 because we hold higher standards. Everyone is a step away from Nebraska because lest you forget, Alabama was current Nebraska before Nick Saban came, like arguably worse. And this is Alabama we're talking, one of the most storied programs in the history of college football. So yeah, that's it. I don't know why more history repeats itself. People, if you're not willing to look at it, you're gonna get burned, and people are just getting burned, sizzled.
So Nebraska, you stink again. Next one, Texas A&M 27-17 loss to Texas. What has happened to Texas A&M? The last couple weeks have not looked good.
It's called pressure and expectations.
Pressure.
That makes a difference. It really, really does. That's a non-quantifiable thing. Nothing you can put into a simulation. Pressure and how you handle the expectation of winning.
It'll either make diamonds or it'll crush the submersible going to the Titanic.
Correct. And I have them here.
Is that an appropriate joke?
No, it's been long enough. We can joke about it.
Okay. But I have them here on my losers because it would have been such an easy thing. Just beat Texas. Texas is not that good. Just beat them and kick them out so we don't have to hear about this shit.
Correct.
But they lost, so now Texas thinks they're the best team in the country again. And my number one loser, SMU, even with all your oil money, you lost to Cal. You lost to a bunch of nerds.
Without a head coach.
Their head coach. Without their head coach.
Bunch of nerds.
SMU had a chance to get back to the playoff again this year, and you lost. That one's inexcusable. It really is. All right, you ready for the winners? You got any more on those losers?
Horns down.
Let's go winners. This one's for you, Kamlo. Navy, 28-17 win over Memphis.
Huge win.
I watched that entire game.
What a second half!
What a second half! So good. The third quarter. Oh my God! I think they took the entire third quarter for a drive. It was beautiful.
Dude, that's what that was like the first thing. That was like the first thing Dad said to me. Walking onto the tee box on Friday. So that Navy game. That's a big win.
It was awesome. That was Navy football. I loved every minute of it. Shout out to the midshipmen.
Getting disrespected.
Does that real quick? Does that quarterback have a real chance at being a Heisman winner?
They talked about it. They said something about how not to win, but maybe he'll be a finalist.
I would love to say yes, but no.
I would too, because you're right. Why in a year it's so wide open? Why is he, precluded from this conversation? Because
he's not going to go pro.
No, because he doesn't play for the SEC or Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't really get it. I think he should be over there. I also think Jacob Rodriguez should be your number one.
I'm more towards the Jacob Rodriguez.
I haven't seen
train as
anybody
well.
in the Heisman stuff with Pavia. I've never seen someone shout "I" so many times. I need the Heisman. I need the Heisman. I need the Heisman. Like, the fuck are we doing? Who gives a shit? Like, is it just because you're not going to play at the next level? So you gotta get your Heisman? Like, is that what it is? Like, we have to have a campaign for you to do this? It's the politicking of the SEC that.
Before you rail on the SEC for this, politicking for the Heisman goes back decades. Couple examples.
But it's not the
couple
person
examples,
doing it.
Couple
It's the
examples.
team
It
doing
is
it.
though. It is though. Joey Harrington at Oregon, they were putting full building size billboards up for him,
Was Joey
like in like
Harrington
week
doing
5.
it, or was the team doing it?
Doesn't matter. His face is on the billboard. And here's the other one,
No,
though.
he's not the one.
Here's one that
The
is
Heisman
the
pose
person
saying,
doing
I
it.
deserve it. I deserve it. I deserve it. I deserve
Here's
it.
the one doing it for himself. Joe Theismann changed his name from Thiesman to Theismann to win the Heisman Trophy at Notre Dame.
Asshole.
We have been mispronouncing his name his entire professional career because of him trying to win the Heisman Trophy. So don't
win it.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Do you remember all the ridiculous stories we used to make up as kids about Joe Theismann?
They're like Chuck Norris memes, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. It was like Joe Theismann would pull up to Raspberry Falls on a Sunday morning without a tea time. They'd be like, "Sir, you need a tea time to play here." And he would say, "I'm Joe Theismann. Get the fucking cart." That's like how we would like spend our newspaper class, was coming up with ridiculous Joe Theismann stories.
Anyway, I'll move on.
Yeah, sorry, Stevie.
Just put you in your place.
Whatever. Next winners, Oklahoma and Alabama. As you saw on that college football ranking, Oklahoma and Alabama are sitting pretty. They won their games. They won them in ugly fashion against two bad teams, but that doesn't matter. They're fine. They're still ahead of BYU for some reason. So Oklahoma and Alabama are winners begrudgingly. Number 3 on my winners, JMU, North Texas, Tulane, because I had a feeling this was going to happen. So they're all sitting pretty as well. JMU's in there to jump Duke if Duke wins. North Texas and Tulane, whoever wins that conference champion goes to the college football playoff. They all beat the hell out of their respected teams. I should say respected teams this last week. So they're all in a pretty good position. I still believe JMU is the best out of them. That's just my opinion. The next one, Oregon, 26-14 win over Washington, keeps their spot in the college football playoff. They're in line to host now. They are not in the conference championship, so they're fine. They get an extra week. They're good to go, ready for the playoff push. That's a tough win at Oregon, or at Washington, I should say. That's a tough win there. And my number 1, this one's for you, Nick. Your UVA, your Virginia Cavaliers, 27-7 over Virginia Tech. Wow, and I kind of wanted to leave you some room to just rant and rave, because this might be the last time you get to do it.
No, in all seriousness, too much class over here to do that. As you can see,
too much
class.
What a douche.
I don't.
The word you use to describe when they're not acting manly.
I don't feel the need, because, like Chandler Morris said, what are you still doing here? We're on to Charlotte. Because if UVA's season were done, or if this was, they're not playing that championship game, they're going to the bowl game, I feel like, we could sit here and spend all the time we wanted to just dumping on Virginia Tech, right? But the fact remains that UVA still has a crap ton to play for, more to play for than they ever have in the history of their football program, right? Because they just reached double-digit wins for the second time ever in program history, and the other time being before all of us were born in 1989. So just where they are right now is unprecedented, but it means, because of the era we're in, that they have, job's not done, right? Because it would feel so deflating, wouldn't it, for them to steamroll Tech, get that monkey off their back, but then
and then
go
lose to Duke,
lose to Duke,
a
right?
team they destroyed actually.
Dominated already at Duke, right? So yes, as much as I would love to sit here and talk about how dreadful Virginia Tech was and how this is probably the worst Virginia Tech team we've ever seen in our life, truly, right? At some point, you need to move on because that game should have been a game you expected to do that to. They could have won by
I
more,
will
to be
say, yeah.
honest.
Oh, they took the starters out with 9 minutes left. I will say, I've never seen a UVA team just expecting to win that game. Right?
I
They
agree.
were
That was the
they
first
were
time I've ever
confident
seen
but
them.
not arrogant. Right? They were
Yes.
confident but not arrogant. It was 100% believe confidence. And from the second that game started, it was like, oh, UVA is winning. And it's such a weird thing. I didn't see any of the previous 20 matchups of, oh my god, how is UVA going to blow this? What are they going to do? How are they not up for this game or whatever? That was an expected, oh, we're going to dominate this game. And
Yes. And
we're
now
still pulling our starters with 9 minutes left.
I think a big reason of that is the transfer portal that you have alluded to before, and how so many of those key players in UVA came in. Not just quarterback Chandler Morris, but one guy I want to highlight is D lineman Mitchell Melton, who came over from Ohio State, and he talked about how he's still mad that when he was at Ohio State they lost to Michigan, and how that feeling needs to be instilled in all the guys at UVA playing in this game, that they need to be so angry. And you saw him in that game get in a little push and shove and like getting someone on Tech's face. And that, as much as you want to bemoan that in a lot of games as like keep your head, that's a necessary thing to do if you're going to win a rivalry game, that especially one that you've been dominated in for, at this point, decades, generations. You've been dominated on. The only way that you're going to get over that hump is to have guys like Mitchell Melton step up and get in someone's face and show that you're not just going to push us around. You're not going to come in here and act this way or that way. You could say, well, we're going to show more class than them or this or that, right? Whatever you want to say from that standpoint. And I get that. But you also need guys out there who are willing to metaphorically and literally drop the gloves, right? And he got in someone's face, like guy, whatever, like stopped him, gets right in his face, lets him know about it, right? And that's something you would have never, that fight, like you said, that belief, you would have never seen from a UVA team in previous years, especially against Tech. So that was very refreshing to see. It is something I believe all week this week I will be wearing something that is UVA related, because this is never what happened before. It seems like, right?
And I do want to highlight Jamari Taylor as well.
Yes, is one of the best running backs.
Don't you have the story of him?
Yes,
like
so he walked on at NC Central, FCS little school. Walked on, became a starter, is dominating at NC Central. Right, last year during a random game, NC Central's coach spotted these guys on their sideline who weren't supposed to be there. And it was Virginia Tech guys trying to recruit Jamari Taylor in the middle of NC Central's game to come to Tech. And NC Central's coach, in his press conference, I believe, said, I'm not answering questions. I need something to say first. And went off and was like, this is so ridiculous, so classless for Virginia Tech to try to do this. Yada, 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 yada. And that basically ended his presser saying, I hope he picks the other school because I'm rooting for them to destroy Virginia Tech next year. Didn't even say picks UVA. He said, I hope he picks the other school. And I believe that's a big reason why Jamari Taylor came to UVA, is because why are you returning this? For spite. Out of spite. Yep. And he is one of the best backs in the country. I'd argue he needs the ball more.
I would agree.
He's that good. But again, I don't want to sit here and get wax poetic that much, and
job's not finished
because the job's not done. You gotta be. I
do want to destroy Kyron Drones.
Yes, you can go ahead and do that, please. That's justified.
Because
Kamala, please stop typing.
Stop clacking.
Sorry,
it's been clacking this entire time. Anyway, Kyron Drones came in talking mad shit about. He's like, I expect to dominate like we have for the last 20 matchups or whatever. We're gonna dominate them. I believe domination looks like 4 for 16 and 2 interceptions and getting your ass kicked up and down the field. I believe there were 8 3-and-outs in a row at one point. I think
right.
Chandler Morris on his touchdown run had more yards on that run, which was like 10, than Virginia Tech had in the entire third quarter. So Kyron Drones, you sucked for 3 years, continue to suck. Congratulations, Virginia Tech. You get to actually move on from him.
Yes, exactly. Anything else before we get to Conlo's strike?
No, I'm good. It's been a time. It's been a time.
It's been time. Conlo, go ahead. Play the cue it up.
So there was a lot of stuff I saw this week that kind of just really stuck in my craw.
You know, it really grinds my gears.
Yeah, it really
It's your crawl that
grinds.
I'm after.
It really grinds my gears. Yeah, it's your craw that I'm at. Funny thing about my back is, but it's more of a conversation that I wanted to have. You know, I don't really like to monopolize. I'd like to have discussions with y'all, and kind of see how you guys feel. But does the name Frank Ragnow mean anything to you?
Yes, it does.
I figured it would.
First round draft pick from the Lions, center out of Arkansas.
Yeah.
4-time Pro Bowler.
Yep, that is correct. Thank you. He retired over the summer. Announced his retirement. I think it was back in June. And then after 12 weeks of NFL play, announced his unretirement and was going to come back to this decimated Lions team to play. And however, and I do believe this is right, he wasn't allowed to because he failed a physical. Turns out he had a hamstring strain. The team couldn't take him back because he had a pre-existing condition, whatever. Wouldn't let him come back. But just the thought of someone who is able to miss 12 weeks of just wear and tear and grind, and then to just up and decide, yep, I'm ready to come back. Let's go. Like the fact that he would have been allowed to play possibly this coming weekend pissed me off. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair.
Life ain't fair.
It's not
Why?
fair. I have a huge issue with that. I think there needs to be some sort of standard. I think if you retire, and you decide you want to come back, that's great. We'll have you back, but you're not playing this year.
Why?
Why?
There's precedent for this. I believe it was Justin Pugh, former offensive lineman for the.
No, I'm aware that there's. I'm aware that there's.
They called him off the
for
couch.
it.
He was retired. They called him off the couch and said, "Hey, we need you. Can you come in?" And he was like, "Okay." Came in and started after being with the team for like 3 days, right? So there were always rumors of like Kurt Warner and Brett Favre signing with the team for the playoffs because they needed someone.
Yeah,
like fair or not, it's a business. Like
that to me is on par with all that stuff that was going on with Mark Stone 2 hockey seasons ago, where he conveniently enters the long-term IR right before trade deadline, and now they have all this money to play with. And I'm not saying that there was really any like financial gain. Obviously, like over the course of like comparatively to hockey, the short football season, right, where every game matters, right? In hockey, like sure, there's a lot more room for error, and you can afford to take a game off or two, whatever. Every game matters in football, and yeah, I understand that people get hurt, people whatever, and you got to bring in some like undrafted, unsigned free agents, whatever. But it just doesn't sit right with me. If you retire. Well, and I understand that players do this all the time.
Have done load management with their pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about the Mark Stone thing. I mean, this is the thing. If you have the depth, you can do it. And if Ragnow, that's the team he's able to come back to. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I think that the difference between this and Mark Stone is the Mark Stone was essentially a manipulation of a league rule.
Loophole.
This is you're not manipulating any rule. We're just saying, hey, we need someone. All options are open, right? We're in desperate times, desperate measures, and this guy who we know is an excellent football player, said he's willing to come play, right? Like think about it, if the Browns called up Joe Thomas right now and were like, hey, can you come back and play? And he wanted to, right? What's wrong with that?
But this is also, I think,
Texas,
like it's
on
on
JJ Watts.
It's on the same.
joked about like, "Oh, I'll come back for a Texans playoff run."
It's on the same scale as like Gronkowski unretiring and then going to Tampa, right? Like like I'm obviously a little biased because I love Gronk and I love Brady, but that is on the same level. Like that makes me mad. That Tampa team wouldn't have had a chance without Gronkowski.
I don't think about that. But the thing with Gronk though too was a lot of that was motivated by him just being like, I'm done with the Patriots. So there was a little like he had to stay retired to like allow his contract or something to get to a
Yes.
certain point where they'd be willing to. I think they technically had to trade him to Tampa. I believe there's something. So like if he had right, he was faced with that decision of I either retire or I keep playing, which I don't want to do, or I hold out, which that doesn't help me either, right? Type of thing. So I think that was motivated a little bit by that. Uh, but I mean, I get what you're saying, Kamlo, that we don't want this to be a trend of everyone retires and we need someone so they'll just come back and play. But at the same time, again, it's a business, right? I can retire from my job at X company and I could have a friend working at Y company who's like, hey, I need you to come in for this. Can you come in for this project? You're the perfect type of person for it. Are you able to do it? It's only for 6 weeks. And I'm free to do that. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Is you're almost like an independent contractor. Like I can retire all I want and I'm retired, but if I want to do this and they want me, okay, why not? Like what holds me back?
But it has been, I mean, like, and on the subject of Gronkowski, like, he famously used it as a manipulation as well, though, when apparently there was a point in his New England career where he was approached and said, hey, Rob, we're trading you to, I think it was Detroit, ironically. Hey, Rob, we're trading you to Detroit. And he said, no, you're not. I'm retiring.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, okay. And then they ended up not trading him and he ended up not retiring. But, like, it does seem. I don't know, man. Like to me, it feels loopholey. It feels loopholey.
But you could again
because
none of
the articles are saying that the team approached him. To me, all the stuff that I read said, and this is back to Frank Ragnow, by the way. All the stuff that I've read about Frank Ragnow pretty much said that he like independently announced his unretiring. Now, I'm sure there were closed door conversations that were had, right? A little hush hush. Hey Frank, if you ever unretire, we got a spot for you, especially right now. Wink, wink. But everything that I've read has said like, oh yeah, Frank Ragnow announced his retirement and wants to play again for the Lions, whatever. But I don't know, man. If it feels loopholey, it doesn't feel right. It does to me on some level. It feels like a manipulation.
Now, I mean, just another business thing you brought up the Gronk thing about like, oh, well, I'll just retire. You can do that in business, right? Hey, we're going to transfer you to the Toledo branch. No, you're not. I'm just going to retire. Screw you. And you can do that in real life.
Sorry, Toledo.
Yeah, sorry. Would you rather me say Akron? Zing a guy in Akron who works for Firestone.
We're going to say the Utica branch.
Yeah, right. You can say that. You are free to say that in real life. That no, I'm not going to do it. I'll retire, and you can make the decision there, right? You can just decide. Like,
well,
it seems
no, you
different
can't
because yes,
none of us can afford to retire.
But that's the thing that. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter. You can say I quit, right? You can say it. Now, is it for us who are not making several $millions a year, is that a prudent decision? No, but in just the ability to make decisions in life, right? The free choice that you have, all of us have the capability. If someone said, hey, we're transferring you to here, or we're going to move you to this, or you're going to now do this instead of that, all of us have the choice to say I quit. No, all of us do, the same way Gronk did. Now, it's easier for a Gronk to say that because he has X millions in the bank and is making X millions going here, knowing he can make X millions doing stuff on TV, right? It's easier for him to say that versus some undrafted rookie or even us schmucks. But at the same time, everyone has that ability to do it. So I don't. My heart doesn't bleed for the organization. Those types of things. My heart doesn't bleed for that and say, oh, this hurts. Like,
No, I'm not saying like I'm not saying that like I'm a bleeding heart or that like like my thoughts and prayers type shit. I'm just saying like to me it just doesn't feel right. It feels like a manipulation of the rules and the circumstances.
well, I mean, again, just another thing, right? There's
I
no
mean,
rule
obviously
against it in the same way when
he's a
you're in
center.
training camp.
He's not. It wasn't a holdout. It wasn't him trying to get more money out of it. Like obviously they can afford to pay a center, right?
Hey,
But
hey, center's the
it's
most important
it's
position on that line.
you're right.
Without
I'm
it, they
sorry.
fall apart.
Without it, they fall apart. But I don't know.
Chop off the head, and the body will die.
It doesn't feel right. I'm selling it. If you're gone, stay gone. If you want to come back, there needs to be some sort of delay.
So I take it you are not a big Brett Favre fan.
I was not a big Brett Favre fan.
Boom,
Got
Brett
it.
Favre.
Yeah.
You know what? A
Hashtag
great wedding.
justice.
Brett
Justice for
Favre.
Mark Gastineau. Justice for Gastineau.
All right. Anything else, Kamala?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'll go ahead and turn it.
Hit the button. Strike the M and go with Michigan basketball. No, not the Fab Five: Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard. Michigan basketball, but the current iteration of Michigan basketball is on what we call a heater right now.
Absolutely.
The boy talked about last week was feast week for college basketball and how all these tournaments are going on that are pitting a lot of teams against each other, like almost potential NCAA tournament matchups and previews. Well, Michigan was playing in the Players Era Festival, which is a new thing. It's kind of odd. I believe like they give an NIL prize money. Like I think they donate $1 million in NIL to your like program or something like that.
That's awesome.
It's kind of
That's
awesome.
what I want to play for. That's great.
It's something like that. But I think their criticism too is it's not like a true bracket. It's like weird, but whatever. Michigan won this thing, I believe. Again, there were some weird things going on with that, but here were their three results last week. San Diego State, a 40 point win, right? And that's still Brian Dutcher, a great program. Then a 30-point win over Auburn, which, again, no Bruce Pearl, but his son is still there. Still a great program. And this is the bigger win here, is 40 points over Mark Few and Gonzaga to win this thing.
Unbelievable.
Right? Which is insane to be able. That's a 40-point win, a 30-point win, and a 40-point win. I believe, if my math is correct, that's a 110-point differential in a 3-game span against 3 extremely good teams and programs.
Historically good teams as well.
Yes, recent history
like,
as well.
Oh, we decided this year that we're going to rank these teams wherever. No. Gonzaga, Auburn, San Diego State have historically been very, very good.
And especially in the last 10 years as well.
Yes.
Right. So that's incredible. Dusty May, I believe, came over from Florida Atlantic. Had a lot of big expectations last year. Kind of. They definitely didn't meet them, right? But this year,
first year, right?
First or second year. The big transfer was, I believe his name is Yaxel Lendenborg. Came over from UAB. He was the number one transfer in the transfer portal. They landed him at Michigan. They're on a heater. A 40-point win, a 30-point win, and a 40-point win. Really, against anyone, can't be understated. But the fact that they're doing it against, I believe Gonzaga was ranked 12th at the time. Auburn 21st. Maybe that's what they currently are. And again, San Diego State not ranked, but a top-tier program. The fact that you do it against those teams in that order without having a lot of rest, it's not like they're getting a week to scout, is incredible.
No, those are back-to-back games.
Yes.
By the way, they scored 100. This was a 94, 102, 101 in 3 straight games.
Something like that, yeah.
Incredible. And if you look at their scoring, it's very, very balanced. Your guy Yaxel has been great. I mean, 17 against Auburn, I think, and 20 against Gonzaga. But they've got guys, Morris Johnson Jr., 11 points. Ade Mara, 13 points. Namari Burnett, 14 points. Ray McKinney, 17 points. Their leading scorer was 20, and they scored 101 points. Usually, if that happens, it's like, well, it's because, so-and-so went off for 40 or whatever.
Yes.
No. Look at that. That is so balanced. They're the best team in the country right now, I would say. I after what they showed at Feast Week, I have to put them They might not be ranked number one because I think Purdue
They're,
is.
they're number 3.
They're number 3.
I
But
I would have
the eye
Arizona
test
1,
for
by the
me
way.
right now says Michigan's the best team in the country.
I would have Arizona at number 1, by the way, because in a lot of ways they seem like, at least to me,
Arizona's really good.
a slightly better Michigan. A lot of the same types of things. Arizona's
After
one thing
that,
is they don't shoot the 3 well, but
it's a
man,
big
do they do a lot of stuff well.
I would love to have.
So that's my
if
number 1
Michigan-
team right now is them.
If Michigan keeps playing well and keeps playing like this after the college football season ends, I think we have to have the great Doug Howard on to talk a little Michigan basketball.
Yeah, but I believe is Doug Michigan, Michigan State.
I thought he was. Is he?
You-
Is he Michigan State?
No, I think he's Michigan. I believe Johnny's Michigan State. Johnny or Doug
One
is
of them is
Michigan State
yeah.
because Mrs. Howard went to Michigan State. Mr. Howard went to Michigan. Obviously, our Guatemalan contingent is very much a Michigan fan. You're right. I'm sure Doug would give us all all we need to know about Michigan basketball.
I'd love to hear it. Those are incredible games. I just kept looking at the scores and going, like, I turn on the Michigan Gonzaga and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a great game, and I'm like, oh, they're already up 30. Oh, that sucks.
Swept the Orioles 4 games in Baltimore. Anything else before we move on to our favorites?
No, I'm good.
So that's going to do it for us for our 3 strikes. We move on to our favorite segment, brought to you as always by One Legacy Title and Escrow in Jacksonville, Florida. Follow them on Instagram at One Legacy Florida and visit them at onelegacyflorida.com to see how they can help you with your next house closing. One Legacy Title and Escrow, because your legacy matters. This week we went with our favorite college football rivalry trophies. The trophy that you get. Does not matter what you feel about the rivalry itself or the teams, or you could factor that in if you wanted to, but it is more about the hardware you get for winning this because it is one of the most unique parts of college football. Who would like to start?
I'll go. Honorable mention, give me the Golden Boot, LSU, Arkansas. I just think that's a pretty cool trophy. I think that's a good looking trophy. I really do. And that was pretty much the sole does the trophy pass my eye test? And then as it turns out, when like doing some research on some of these trophies, I found some pretty fun like historical facts about the trophy. So that's also kind of cool. But yeah, give me the Golden Boot at the honorable mention. Number 5, I want the Freedom Trophy. Nebraska, Wisconsin. I want the Freedom
I've
Trophy.
seen that one. That's a good one.
I think it's a good looking trophy. I do believe that the trophy could look better. Not particularly fond of how the flag falls on top of that trophy.
Yes,
but that is still a pretty cool trophy, and it's relatively new as well.
It's very
like
new.
2011 after that like realignment, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a relatively new trophy, but I do think it looks pretty neat. Number 4, give me the old oil can, Fresno State, San Diego State. This thing is battered, bruised, and rough looking, but a lot of really fun history with the old oil can. And I like that they have almost like a Stanley Cup thing going on, where there's a tiny little plaque all along this old bronzed oil can.
Wait, now, before you move on, Kamala, should we be pulling up pictures of these?
I mean, I could start. I have I think the rest of mine pulled up already. So here's what the old oil can looks like.
Yeah, let's see this. Get that bad boy.
Yeah. That's a good looking trophy. 93-year-old rivalry too. I mean, it's a nice looking. It's a good looking piece, Nick. It's a good looking piece.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, give me the old oil can. In the 3 hole, the number 4 hole. Give me coming up at number 3. I want Floyd of Rosedale, Iowa, Minnesota. Give me Floyd the Hog.
Yes.
And I will share a picture of
there
Floyd.
Oh, that's a great one.
Fun fact. This goes all the way back to like
the 30s.
The integration of African Americans into college football, and essentially what happened was I couldn't tell you. I get the schools confused. One school had an all-star like black. Yeah, Iowa had a black player who got absolutely bodied one year. The next year, the Iowa governor pretty much said, if the officials aren't going to respect our stars on the field, then the fans are coming on the field. Pretty much,
More or
pretty
less,
much inciting a riot
yes, the
should
fans don't
their
stand
player
for
not
it.
be. Yeah, pretty much inciting a riot. It should the calls not go their way. The Minnesota governor replied and very lightheartedly said, our folks are excited about the statements you've made about the crowd lynching the Minnesota football team. He sent a telegram, by the way.
Yes.
This is how old it
Yes,
was. It was
he
a
did.
telegram. In the telegram, he said, Minnesota folks are excited over your statements about Iowa crowds lynching the Minnesota football team. I have assured them that you are law-abiding gentlemen and are only trying to get our goat. I will bet you a Minnesota prize hog against an Iowa prize hog that Minnesota wins. And that's how the Floyd of Rosedale Trophy was born, where it started with actual swine being tendered as gambling currency.
Yes, so you know
which
what
is
happened.
incredible.
So you know what happened as a result of that game? Minnesota wins, and so Iowa's got to give them a pig. Well, the farm that the pig came from was the Rosedale farm, and they named the pig Floyd because the Minnesota governor's first name was Floyd. So they gave Floyd Tom meet
Yeah.
Tom, right?
Yeah.
And so they send the pig off to obviously stay at a Minnesota farm. Well, for whatever reason, maybe this is a cruel joke or they forgot or something. The Iowa people never vaccinated the damn pig. So the pig gets to the farm in Minnesota and dies 8 months later. So they couldn't exchange pigs anymore, so they had to make the trophy.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
The thing weighs 100 pounds.
That's gamesmanship. That's what that
Yes.
is. That's
Yeah, I mean,
gamesmanship.
gamesmanship that's a whole new level of gamesmanship for sure. But that's so funny, Nick. I'm impressed that you remember all of that.
It's so good. It's so good.
That's really good. The next one, that's probably my favorite story. Was reading about that. The next one, give me in the 2-hole. I want the milk can. Boise State, Fresno State. You can see the theme as we go up my list. Is I like
so Fresno State's got an oil can and a milk
equipment. I like big farm equipment as my trophy. I want oil cans, pigs, and milk cans. But yeah, it's legitimately just it's like Stanley Cup-esque. If we really want to like break it down, that's not going to load. That's embarrassing. But yeah, look at this behemoth of a trophy, and it's an unadorned milk can. I think this is just fucking brilliant, dude. And we make a big song and dance, put it underneath the banners on a nice little podium, and it's just an unadorned milk can. And the last one, sticking with my theme, give me the old wagon wheel. BYU, Utah State.
I almost had that.
Yes.
You know who else also has a wagon wheel, isn't it? Akron, Kent State?
Yes.
Yeah. Here we go. Look at it's a legit wagon wheel. It's the size of the players.
It is hilarious.
Right? It was the chuck wagon that brought the Pioneers out to Utah.
Yes.
The theme for that one.
Yeah. Great trophy. Super original. I love this. And I did learn quite a bit doing this list. And we've always said that, our goal is to teach and educate people. And I do think that the history behind some of these old ass rivalry trophies, it's worth a read. It's worth a read. But that's my list. I'll hang up and listen. I did my best. Did my best.
Keep your screen so you can look up mine. All right, keep your screen up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute those since you guys don't like the typing noises.
Do you mean the clack, click, clack, click, clack?
Yeah, click, clack, click.
Keep it up, and I'm gonna unmute.
All right, my first one. I did not have an honorable mention. I went strictly just 5 for this one. Battle for the Bones. The Bones. Memphis versus UAB. Their ribs.
Oh, that's great.
How awesome
My God.
is that?
That's terrifying. Look, there's holes in them. They've been singed and damaged.
Who has better ribs, Memphis or Birmingham?
That's so good. Memphis, by the way.
I'd have to think so, but I saw this and I was like, what? I was like, Battle for the Bones. Like, what is this? Let me look this up. I thought it was gonna be something drastically different. They're just ribs, and it makes it so much better.
Yes.
All right,
I mean, could
4.
that be any better of a trophy? I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's pretty incredible. I love it. Number 4, the Cyhawk Trophy. This to me it's the best name for a trophy. It's a pretty cool trophy. You got the Cyclone and the Hawkeye on each side, but to me, it's more about the name and the bitter in-state rivalry that is the Cyhawk. I'm a big fan of the name of that trophy. And my next one, this one's a little unique that I don't think many people know about. The Paniolo, Paniolo, Paniolo Trophy is between Wyoming and Hawaii. How cool is that? It's a cowboy.
Dear sweet heavens. Oh, yeah, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a theme for yours as well. Yours is also pretty farm related with,
It is.
with
they
ribs and rodeo.
They have the best trophies. But the Paniolo, so Paniolo means cowboy in Hawaii.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
So it's the Wyoming Cowboys.
I'm in the
in
Kapula
Hawaii.
suite.
So that is, I think that's one of the more unique trophies. I really, really love that.
Now, boy, before you move on, this means Wyoming might have the best set of trophies because they also have a rifle. They hand a rifle back and forth between them and Utah State.
Like a
legitimate,
firing...
literally the guys are pretending to shoot the damn rifle when they get it. And they also have the bronze boot, which looks very cool. Them in Colorado State in the border war. So they have these 3 sweet-ass trophies that Wyoming gets to play for. I love
college football. Wyoming might have the best set of trophies.
They might.
Yeah, this one, that is a really
Yeah,
cool
there it is.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Look at that trigger discipline, by the way. Fingers not on the trigger. I love that. That's wild. Oh my god. That's a great picture. That is a great picture. All right, sorry, Stevie.
All right, the next one on my list. I mean, Wyoming kind of goes to this theme a little bit because they're the leaders in coal. So you know who else has a lot of coal? West Virginia and Western Virginia. So Virginia Tech. So the Black Diamond Trophy.
South Virginia. North Virginia.
East Virginia.
The
Black Diamond Trophy. It's coal.
That's not that one.
That's not it. It's see that one that has the that one. It's a piece of coal, which is called Black Diamond. I love it. I think it's an apt name. It's great for the border rivalry of West Virginia versus Virginia Tech.
That's a big trophy too.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet trophy. That's one of my favorites. I think it's an underrated trophy. I think it's got a great name. I think it's got a great backstory. I love it. And number 1, which I'm assuming this is also Nick's number 1, is Paul Bunyan's axe. It's the greatest trophy in sports, besides the Stanley Cup, obviously, but the greatest trophy, at least in college football. Paul Bunyan's axe is.
What are these pictures? Yeah, there we go.
That's the correct picture. Yeah. And by the way, they inscribe every team and the score on the handle.
This is the second iteration of the axe because they ran out of room on the first one.
And then you take it to your opponent's field goal post and you chop it down, which makes it even better. That's a great trophy.
That is a pretty cool trophy. Yeah, none of these other pictures really do it justice until you get to look at that.
It's 6 feet tall.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
It's a good trophy.
All right, that's my list.
All right, Kamala, you ready? First honorable mention has to do with the St. Olaf football team in a little town of Minnesota. They have 2 trophies that are impeccable, incredible. The first one is the GOAT Trophy awarded for the Cereal Bowl of Carleton versus St. Olaf. They're crosstown.
What in the South Park is this?
How'd you find this?
Oh, I did some research, son. It's awesome. That's what they get.
Don't look excited to be holding this
the
trophy,
goat trophy
at all.
The goat trophy. Now, one of the other things that you do is there's like an eagle in the center of town. If you see, and like there's an eagle statue behind where the team photos are, where it's the whole team. Go back up. Yeah, like that one, right? That eagle statue. So the two schools are in the same town, and whoever wins, the team goes to the eagle statue and turns the eagle to face their school, and it stays that way the rest of the year until the next game, which is kind of awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Now, the other St. Olaf trophy, I considered this putting this number one, but I couldn't. But it has to be mentioned. Is from the Lefse Bowl, and it's the Troll Trophy between Concordia and St. Olaf. The Troll Trophy. Yes. 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 That's it.
It looks like Snuffleupagus.
It's a troll. So St. Olaf was started by like Norwegian Christians living up in Minnesota. And so one day they decided to make a trophy for this St. Olaf Concordia rivalry. And I guess someone, because again, it all comes from Norwegians, knew someone in Lillehammer. And they knew someone who makes these like sculptures out of like true Norwegian moss and like pine cones, and literally takes stuff from Norway's nature and makes these sculptures. And so they commissioned this guy to make this because a troll plays a prominent role in Norse mythology. And so this guy made this troll trophy for this rivalry. And look at it.
Have been like, let's do like the battle for Thor.
No, a troll. It's even. Oh, come on. It really might be the best. It's Snuffleupagus, yeah. That might be the best trophy in the world. But I couldn't put that any higher than an honorable mention. But it deserves to be talked about. Amazing. My next honorable mention actually has to do with TCU. TCU has two really cool trophies. The first one is the Iron Skillet, which they play against SMU for, which is it. I like that one. But the other one that I like better, I mean, that's kind of cool. Right? The other one I like better is the Saddle Trophy, TCU Texas Tech. They commissioned these like prominent like saddle leather makers to make this trophy, and it is pretty sweet. It is full size saddle. It's kind of sweet. If that ain't Texas, I don't know what is. It's just beautiful trophy. Those are my two honorable mentions. The number 5 one I have is the Bryce Cowell Musket. BRICE hyphen Cowell. COWELL musket. It is between the University of Maine and New Hampshire, and it is an 18th century musket that was made in Falmouth, Maine, I believe, that they passed back and forth to each other. That's awesome. Now it's not as cool as the Bridger rifle, which is the one that between Wyoming and Utah State. That didn't make my cut because that is a little too new for me. Like that was not long ago introduced for that. But this one's been around for a long time. And so even though they're not wielding it as they're trying to shoot, this is, I believe it's called a fowling musket, FOWL. So I believe this was a musket used to hunt birds back in the late 1700s.
How hard can it be to kill this thing?
So you hunt it? Yes. So the Bryce Cowell musket, Maine and New Hampshire. Number 4 is the Golden Hat.
Environmental is also a hunter.
They're Golden Hat.
Jeremy, they're overpopulated in this region. They're decimated the grub population.
The Golden Hat Trophy for the Red River rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma. And you can take it off and wear it like they've done, which is awesome. It's it actually was bronze, a 10-gallon hat. And when they refurbished it, it made it look so gold that they decided to call it the Golden Hat instead of the bronze hat. But that's pretty sweet. I'm sorry. So that goes to the winner of Texas and Oklahoma. Interestingly, there's like 3 other trophies that you can get from that game. There's like a Governor's Cup that the Governors exchange. There's another trophy, and then there's one that they're like ROTC exchanges that they play a flag football game for, and the winner of that gets this trophy, which is kind of cool. Next one, we talked about the Floyd of Rosedale trophy. The story is so good. The trophy itself is pretty sweet. Poor old Floyd, his fate.
This has to be probably the heaviest, with the exception of Paul Bunyan's axe. This has to be probably the heaviest trophy that we've
It's 100 pounds.
Right?
Paul Bunyan's axe might be less than that because of the.
You think?
Well, I don't know.
This has to be
weight
a
distribution
solid
on that.
pig.
I believe it's 98 pounds is what it is.
Right. My prize hog.
Yes. Look at that thing. It's so good. Maybe that should be ranked as the number 1 trophy. I mean, the fact that
this thing is sweet. This thing is so sweet.
Is a great trophy. Number 2 is the Fremont Cannon in the Battle of Nevada between the University of Nevada and UNLV. It is a replica.
This might be the heaviest trophy.
Replica 19th century howitzer. It's a replica 19th century howitzer believed to be the same type of cannon that John C. Fremont, the famous frontiersman, carried with him on his expedition west to settle in California.
Carried?
He brought with his expedition. Had to be
Wheeled
abandoned
around?
in the Sierra Nevadas during a bad snow. But this is the heaviest trophy, the largest trophy, and the most expensive trophy in all of college football. I believe 545 pounds. Used to what happened is whichever team won it, right, the next year during the game, every time you would score a touchdown, they would fire the thing off. Well, one year, I believe in the 1999 or 2000.
The gang cracks the Liberty Bell.
No, they literally did that. After the win, the other people from the other school, the school that won, they went to try to lift the damn thing and dropped it and permanently damaged it. It had to be fixed, and it's not fireable anymore. So yes, literally the gang cracked the Liberty Bell is what happened to the Fremont Cannon. But what I also love about it is, as you see in these pictures, some of them are red, some of them are blue. Whichever team wins between UNLV and Nevada, they get to paint the thing, and not the cannon itself, but the wheels and the stand around it. They get to paint it their colors for the next year, which I think is really cool. So Fremont Cannon, awesome. If you haven't noticed, the trend in my list are things that are weapons, by the way, which leads us to number 1. It's Wisconsin, Minnesota. Now it's Paul Bunyan's axe, but before I get to Paul Bunyan's axe, did you know, boy, this was not the first trophy that they played for. The original trophy between Wisconsin and Minnesota was called the Slab of Bacon. It was literally, there's Joe Thomas.
Oh, there's Joe Thomas.
It was a piece of wood that was carved to look like a piece of bacon, and it had a W/M in the middle. So whichever way you turned it, like if Minnesota won, you turn it so it's an M. If Wisconsin won, you turn it as that. And on the back, it's something about like, got your bacon or brought home the bacon, something like that. Well, what happened with this trophy is 1 year Wisconsin was holding it, and there was an agreement like set up beforehand. Like if Minnesota wins, this person is going to transport the bacon to this person from Minnesota, right? So what happened is the game was at Minnesota. Minnesota wins the first time in a while. They storm the field. The girl for Wisconsin goes to find the Minnesota person, can't find them in the midst of the field storming, which is understandable. So after the game, she goes to the Minnesota locker room to try to give the bacon to them, and their coach rejects it, basically being like, I don't care. This is during World War II. It was like 1943. We're going to wait till after World War II to, accept this, right? It doesn't feel right for us, blah, 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 whatever. Well, something happens where the girl loses it, right, and is gone for the next 5 years. They don't have a trophy, and that's when they decided to commission the Paul Bunyan's axe as the trophy, because they're like, we got to move on and do something else. So we made the axe. Well, fast forward till 1994, at the early stages of Barry Alvarez's reign, someone is going through Camp Randall Stadium, Wisconsin Stadium, and they find the slab of bacon. And someone had been keeping up with the scores because they put the scores on the back. So they had scores from 43 up to 1970. So someone knew it, took it, hid it in Camp Randall Stadium.
What a douche.
Yes. Hilarious. But I
I
want to
hope
tell
they
you,
they don't admit it till their deathbed,
oh, yes,
deep throat, like I put the scores on the bacon.
absolutely. Yes, but that led to the best trophy, which is Paul Bunyan's axe. It is awesome. What's so great about it is it's simple. Right, there's not a lot to it, and it makes sense for that part of the country where they are. The whole thing about chopping the goalpost down is cool, but the trophy itself, right? It is an axe. It's not like it's the Stanford axe where it's just like the axe that axe head on it on a like display case, which it's nice, right? They hand it over, it's cool, right? This is a legitimate axe. It looks awesome when Joe Thomas is standing there hoisting it over his head. That is as cool as it gets from a trophy standpoint. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Great list. I think all of us had really good lists. I really enjoyed that.
I do
This
too.
this is the stuff that makes college football special.
Yeah.
Can we get NFL trophies? Can we?
Yeah, it's called the Lombardi Trophy. You play to win the game. Hello.
You play to win the game.
I need regional. This is regional rivalries.
Yes.
Like the beauty of college football. This is it. The uniqueness, the creativity. Some jackass still keeping score of the on the slab of bacon.
They stole it.
Been looking for it for 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
yes.
incredible.
And I believe we learned that it's possible that Wyoming has the best set of rivalry trophies. Now, Wisconsin, Minnesota have great ones because lest we forget, Florida Rosedale also involves Minnesota. Minnesota also has
a couple. Yeah,
it has that Heartland
Iowa,
Trophy or the Freedom
Wisconsin.
Trophy. Heartland Trophy, yeah, for Iowa. But Minnesota also has a Minnesota-Nebraska one that's called the $5 Bits of Broken Chair Trophy, which came about from a fake Bo Pelini account and the Golden Gopher account on Twitter making some jokes back and forth, and someone commissioned. It's literally a tipped-over chair, like a golden chair. And
That's
so
incredible.
Minnesota is up there with Wyoming.
Are we going to start the Huggy Bear Trophy between West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Xavier? Or Kansas State?
Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Not Xavier. Kansas State. West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Kansas State. We need to start the Huggy Bear Trophy.
We do.
Create one of those. College basketball doesn't have trophies. Like, I mean, they have a little bit, but not to the point of college football.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. I actually believe that GOAT trophy I was telling you about, Carleton and St. Olaf, started as a college basketball trophy about 20, 30 years before they did the football one. The basketball one was some kid who made like a sculpture and hung it from the rafters of a game. Like he made a goat out of chairs and being like, we're going to get your GOAT, Carleton or whatever. And I guess Carleton won and wanted it. And so they took it down from the rafters and kept exchanging it. And then the football team wanted the GOAT. And I actually believe the same person who did the slab of bacon for Wisconsin, Minnesota, did the GOAT for St. Olaf and Carleton.
It's pretty cool.
Hilarious, right?
Legendary.
Yes. That's going to take us...
the Teshes.
You know what? No deal!
Yeah, we need a new trophy. I called in Dave Tesh.
It's a lyrics forward song, so I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. That's going to take us for what to look for. Brought to you as always by VB Cookie Co. Looking for the perfect way to stand out at the next event you are hosting? Well, custom cookies are a timeless way to have everyone still buzzing even after they leave. Look no further for your cookie needs than VB Cookie Co. Follow them on Instagram at VB Cookie Co. and message them to order yours today. Whether it is a bridal shower, birthday, engagement, or baby shower, their team will work with you to make all your cookie dreams come true. VB Cookie Co. for the sweetest moments. And if I must say, they had Christmas cookies come out recently. Look freaking awesome.
I can only imagine.
Check it out on Instagram. Again, at VB Cookie Co. Sweet. They're out now. Order yours today. They look awesome. Boy, give them something to watch for.
So it is Champ Week. So college football Champ Week here. A couple games to look for. North Texas, Tulane. The winner goes to the college football playoff. This is established now because of the rankings, right? We have BYU, Texas Tech on Saturday. That if BYU wins, they're in. If they lose, most likely they're out. Which is, we've talked about that at length. And UVA, Duke. is the last game. If UVA wins, they're in. If Duke wins, we could see possibly JMU get in, or some other chaos could happen.
Doomsday.
But there's also Ohio State, Indiana as the quiet 1 versus 2 in the country that no one is talking about. No one's talked about Ohio State at all. No, like we kind of just glossed past them. Like, oh, they're number one.
They beat Michigan. What else is there to talk about?
Now, interestingly, I believe
Ohio State versus Indiana, it could determine the Heisman winner. It could determine it's going to determine the number 1 overall seed. And it's going to pit these two against each other and really test them, because I mean they've had a couple of tests, but this is I think it's a bigger deal than people have made it out for, because they're both in, obviously, but this is 1 versus 2.
Now I will say, I was looking. I love to look at the like matchup predictor odds, like percent chance to win.
It was split.
Yes, and I actually think it was slightly. I mean, like 50.6% in Indiana's favor.
That's exactly what it was,
which was like shocking, right? To the layman who would sit there and go, Ohio State, Indiana. I don't care what Indiana's ranked. No, you're right. That game needs to be paid attention to more.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of the fact that, right, both teams are in. If this were BCS era, where it was, only the top 2 teams got into
you're out.
This game would be the big, like no one would care about anything else. But yeah, it is kind of cool we get number 1 and 2, the most deserving number 1 and 2 in the country.
100%. Yep.
Kamala?
Well, the New England Patriots are on a bye this weekend, and I'm kind of fired up over college basketball right now. You brought up Michigan earlier and what a buzzsaw they are. So this weekend, we actually have quite a few top 25 matchups on Saturday. You got Iowa State and Purdue playing. You got Duke and Michigan State playing. You got Illinois and Tennessee playing, Auburn, Arizona, Louisville, Indiana. Those are all going to be, I think, really, really good games. And with football, like, coming to its climax, college basketball slides in right behind it. So I'm pretty fired up about that. I'll probably be locked into some college basketball this weekend.
Speaking of college basketball, one game just ended. Florida at Duke, 67-66 Duke.
Let's go.
Came down to the last second.
Let's go.
I was watching that.
That's the SEC ACC challenge that they do now.
Correct.
So I have a couple things for us, just off the wall. Some soccer, Italian Serie A. Como, Lake Como they're trying to build themselves as like essentially the luxury brand of soccer.
Like you
Como,
love that team,
dude. It's so cool. Thierry Henry's a partial owner. Is it Cesc Fabregas is the coach? I believe.
Yes.
But they have climbed up. Like they have essentially pulled the NIL of soccer and just climbed their way up by just grabbing little bits and more. They're pretty high up on the table. They travel to Internazionale, Inter Milan on Saturday, which should be a great game. And then you have Juventus, travels to Napoli on Sunday.
They're all taking a Napoli.
Yeah, both big games
being greasy
in Serie A. Boy, I'm surprised you didn't bring up this one. The NCAA women's volleyball tournament starts Thursday.
I do like the
right. Number 1 seeds for that are.
I've been so obsessed with the college football bullshit. So sorry about that.
Nebraska's the number 1 overall seed, followed by Kentucky, Texas, and Pitt are your number 1 seeds for that. I don't know. Do they do a 64 team or 32 team? They might do 64.
They might do.
They do Thursday. And like this weekend is like the March Madness term. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday that these teams play. So that's something cool. Then I have, this is for you, Kamlo, college hockey. Men's college hockey this weekend. You'll see number 1 Michigan take on number 3 Michigan State in I believe it might be a home and home actually on Friday and Saturday. But then women's college hockey, you have the number 1 versus number 2. Number 1 Wisconsin Badgers take on number 2 Ohio State. Also 2 games this weekend. So I thought that was cool.
Women's college volleyball does do 64. 31 automatic qualifier and 33 at-large selections.
Yeah. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Kind of sweet. That's a lot of good action going there. Anything else before we wrap this up?
No.
That's going to do it for us here on What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, for the boy Stephen Vesci and the man Stephen Comlow, I am the coach Nick Vesci. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Be on the lookout for WCME Soccer, or WCME FC, if you want to think of it that way, hosted by your boy, Coach Ray. That should be seeing some stuff on the horizon for that. But before we go, remember to be decent to each other. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care, Guatemala.
And wait for it.
Go Who's.
We're clear.